what's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett. I have Chris, the artist formerly known as Heavy C. I have Tanner, the head. And we have Matt, who shit his pants twice yesterday.
Twice.
We're going to get to that in a second. First, we got our show partners. We got Elite Nutrition Omaha. Check them out at EliteNutritionOmaha.com. Use code B3 at checkout or go to the store and yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
We have Rosewood Block. Make the best cutting boards in barbecue. We actually used it yesterday. We made some beef ribs. Check out our Instagram pages. They're on there. Use code B3 at checkout there as well to get 10% off.
I think you need to put a little oil on your board, Bob.
I know. It was really a half-ass deal. Like, I cut my finger washing the knife. I didn't have a
used
rag.
Your blood to soil it.
Yeah. I had to wash my flesh off the knife after I cut it.
It got dry.
Well, we washed it.
Washed it?
Yeah.
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 You have to do that every
I
night.
haven't really washed mine yet.
Yeah.
I just let
just
the meat
rinse it.
juice soak in.
Yeah.
Also, if you enjoy our show or don't enjoy our show, tell everyone about it. And like, subscribe, follow. We just want everyone to be a little less shitty every day. And we also have a little less shitty shirts that we're going to have out next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except I was real shitty yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go to that. How do you shit your pants twice in one day, two separate occasions,
Dude,
two different parts of the day?
So
This is a morning and night shit.
No, yeah.
Wow.
Right? So poo in the pants number one happened in the morning when I got up. Fridays I don't lift. I come and I ruck here with Brett and then whoever else wants to show up.
Which is usually just nobody except
Yeah,
Kochek.
it's just
Chris came one
Kocheks.
time.
Maybe Chris.
If
And
I
then
don't
the
have to
random
work,
cars that
I'm
drive
here.
by and scowl at us like we're trash. But so I got up in the morning and I was like, well, fuck, I'll just go get another ruck in now. So I texted a friend of mine who lives down the road, said, hey, you want to meet? And he's like, yeah, cool. So I felt like I had to poop, but I was like, he's going to be there already. Let's just go get this done. I'll come shit when I get back. So I throw Uric, our shepherd, in the truck, drive down there, get him out. And we're walking. And I was like, maybe I just got to fart to clear some room. And it was one of those farts where you got to like push just a little bit. And it was like, as I pushed a little bit, I was like, stop. Nope. I had shit between my butt cheeks. I was like, fuck. So
did it stay between the butt cheeks? Because that's that's not even shitting your pants. That's just like shitting your butt, kind of.
Yeah, I don't. So maybe I shit.
I mean, but that's a big deal. If you do that like
Yeah.
in a public place, you can still survive that.
So that was a shit.
Yeah, if you
maybe
make
I
it to
just
the
shit my
toilet.
butt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so either way, I was like, well, I don't want to walk for 45 minutes with poop between my butt cheeks.
Oh, that's how you get a rash.
right.
You're gonna need salve.
So I went home, changed underoos, wiped that shit up, took off, went back down there, did the ruck, everything was good. Then yesterday, go through my day as a normal human being.
Have not
shitting
shit
my
your pants.
Not shitting my pants, using the toilet for all bodily functions. And then I'm going home at like, I don't know, 9:30. I stop at the gas station, filling up, and I'm like, I got to pee. So I go in to pee, and then like when you pee, you kind of relax that whole general region. So like you have to
can't hold a
generally
fart while you're peeing.
Right.
You can't.
And so I'm like thinking, okay, a fart. No. I fucking shit my pants again. All I did was like relax to pee and poop came out.
I feel
now
like
it was like I used the word poop loosely because it was loose. I don't know what's going on. It was
But I feel like you do kind of close off your sphincter because then when you try to fart, it like interrupts your pee stream.
But
Yeah,
you can't, like, if you're trying to hold a fart while you're peeing, you can't pee.
like this was
That's why everyone, like, when you go, like, there's a bunch of farts happening. Like when you go to like a game and there's like a full bathroom, it's just like fart, fart, fart because you can't hold your fart while you pee.
Have you ever shit without peeing?
I have one time.
I have actually shit without peeing, but then like I have more than one occasion shit and then stood up like, oh, I have to pee. And then I have to pee after I've already stood up.
I've done that where I was like, I got done peeing and I was like, man, I have to shit. And the pee still came out. I don't understand that either. Yeah. I don't understand where more comes from at that point.
But I have this, so I'm really curious about, I would figure, so I've had to travel a lot for work. And like, honestly, when I travel for work, my poo consistency is better. Like everything just flows better. It's a little more regular. And then I come back home when I eat like the same normal, boring shit most of the time, no problem. The only like significant difference is at home, we have one of those like Culligan water things. And so that's what I use for water most of the time.
You think it's the cleanliness of the water?
That seems super weird that Culligan water being just pure water would make my shit turn to water.
Well, you're probably drinking bottled water anyways when you're traveling.
No.
You're drinking tap water.
Yeah, when I fly, I have like a little jug that I fill up at the airport. They have the little bottle fillers. I do that.
Aren't those
stuff.
filtered?
I mean, they're probably
No
filtered.
clue.
I don't know.
I would think so.
That's a good question.
It tells you how many plastic bottles you
Yeah.
saved, which I don't care at all.
I throw away extra bottles just to offset the bottles.
Yeah,
that I save.
it's like when I sit in traffic with my truck and I'm sitting next to an electric
And
car.
rather than idling at like 500, I idle it up to like 2,000.
Just power break it while you're sitting there. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna have to try something like just not drinking Culligan water for like a week or two and just see if something, because that's the only. It doesn't make any sense why like pure clean water would water down my poo. But that's like the only like significant difference I can think of.
Do you eat more like meat when you're out of town? Like, do you eat like more like
Do you
solid?
have some bad tallow you're using?
I don't have any tallow right now, except like the spray tallow that you got me.
That's hard to use if it gets cold.
All the smoked tallow that I had, like I've used that up. And the last brisket I made this week, like I didn't.
Do
You're
need
being
some-
lazy.
Do you need
No,
some tallow?
it was not. It was so like my brother bought me a brisket for Christmas, and he went into a local butcher,
Oh, was it the same one?
the same one.
Oh, fuck.
And he goes in there and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to get my brother a brisket for Christmas. I don't know much about this stuff, but he's big into smoking, likes to do this, and like usually gets, the good stuff. What do you got?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll get you hooked up." So they come out, they give him a brisket, he buys it. They sold him what they said was the good stuff was a choice brisket for $6 a pound. That was
Trash.
yeah.
It's fucking trash.
They totally did him dirty. Like
Yeah.
100%.
Well, that was nice
fucked
of your
it.
brother to, try.
Right. Yeah. I was like, this is fucking awesome, man. This is great. Like they got some shrimp and the shrimp was good. But like the brisket for like quality brisket, even at the choice level, I'm like, you guys are assholes. For being like
Yeah.
a butcher shop that it's
don't-
not like
I
a
think if
Hy-Vee or
you're-
something.
I think if like,
I'm about ready to call this place out because they're pissing me off.
but I don't.
I'm good with it.
They're,
Yeah, I've heard bad things lately too. I mean,
Yeah, you know what? Let's just go ahead and call it out. We need to save people money. Like, don't go to Just Good Meats. Just don't.
There it
Okay,
is.
no. Here's the
yeah,
thing.
it's
There it is.
I think you can go to Just Good Meats for specific
Not for
meats.
fucking. Not for.
But you know what? There's not
brisket.
very many places you can actually go for brisket. In all honesty, really, like I'm not going to buy a brisket from anywhere except for probably Costco.
Fairway's not bad.
I haven't checked out. There's a new place called Casanova's. I don't know if they have brisket there. It's that like,
in Rockbrook. Yeah.
yeah, it's like what is it like? It's supposed to be like an old school like butcher shop.
Okay.
Now, just could be they do have some good things there, but I just wouldn't go.
Don't get brisket.
Don't get brisket.
Like the one I got, it was the shittiest piece of meat that I wasted an entire day fucking that thing. I mean,
but I told you.
you did. I told you I got it, and you're like,
Yeah.
eh.
I think
And I
probably,
was like,
and I
no,
think
it'll
somebody
be
said
fine.
I think Sam's has okay briskets. I think if you want it, it's kind of like Matt gave me a brisket one year as a very nice gesture for Christmas. It was the worst brisket I've ever had in my entire life. But it's from a farmer. I think those briskets, like what Snake River does and like Creekstone Farms and somebody's, those cattle are specifically raised for fucking barbecue and briskets.
Yeah.
Because an average cow, the briskets probably aren't
Yep.
that crazy.
Well, I will tell you, my buddy does animal genetics, and they'll say like which cow and which bull to pair together to get quantity of meat, quality of meat, quantity of milk, quality of milk. Like they have.
Like when you're getting like Snake River selling like a 22-pound brisket, there's 2 of those on a cow. That's a big fucking cow.
There's a big cow.
I mean, you got 44 pounds of brisket. That is a massive fucking cow. You know what I mean? So
It's a big cow.
yeah, I mean, and that's just because the brisket sits off the ribs up front. You know what I mean? Like that's a huge chest of a. Could you imagine having 22-pound fucking meat just like hanging off your fucking, like right by your ribs?
Hangs between my legs.
Oh, your thighs are starting to sag.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Right.
More ball sack than anything.
Yeah.
And even
But
then
yeah.
it's all sack.
That's
Dangly
gravity,
sack.
Gravity.
You're gonna have to get
kicking
that
in.
thing stitched.
Sack and
But
fluid little.
Just Good Meats does have good meat sticks though, and they're pretty good jerky.
Like I'm sure they have.
They sell some Duke's Mayo there as well. If anybody's looking for Duke's Mayo, and
Hy-Vee sells Duke's Mayo.
easy, bitch. I'm just saying.
Tanner's just full of hate. Like that's what he
I'm
feels
just pissed
on.
because, like,
And you know what? I'll give them. What else I'll give them? If you want to
They're
get
close.
like your turkey there, they get farm fresh turkeys in for Thanksgiving. Also good.
okay, just don't waste your money buying a brisket because brisket takes a long time to do. Right? It's a chunk of money. It's like you're
Yeah,
spending
this thing
money.
was
to do it.
$100.
Yeah, it's $100. It takes you.
In all honesty, just don't buy
Fucking-
brisket from a grocery store. Not even Fairway. I mean, if you really want a good brisket, go to Costco or
Costco.
Sam's.
Get at least Prime. Like you can get Prime
Yeah.
at Fairway. Like
But sometimes
now
they
and
kind of
then,
inject those sometimes too with a little water.
Yeah, they have a little
Thicken
water
them
and
up.
stuff in them. But I mean, if you don't do choice, right? Unless you're
Just
making
don't,
a ton
yeah.
of brisket for people you don't care about.
Just don't. Well, honestly, if you do choice, you have so much fucking waste because there's it's like
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I probably cut off a piece that was, it had to be, I would say, about 4 inches wide, 9 inches ish long, and I mean 9 inches,
Like man inches. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
So at least that of like brisket that was like
I thought that was 9 inches.
that's a woman's
she's
measurement.
just being nice to you. But it was like half-inch thick, like maybe inch thick meat, and where you had this other chunk of the flat that was nice, that was pretty good size, but it was like such a steep drop off that part would have just cooked and dried and curled up before the rest of it was done. So it's like, well, you got to take that shit off.
Well, and then you like that texture when you have a brisket, like you can like that kind of like where you like it'll like break, and then you
Just
when you
pulls
have
apart. It'll just pull apart.
Yeah, and then you have like when it's super like the choice gets so fatty that like there's like fat within the like there's like so
It's
much
bad
fat.
distribution rather than having
Yes.
like good
Marbling.
intramuscular marbling and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like big
And it's
fat
like
pockets.
chunks.
Yeah.
Like
and
when
like you go to cut the meat, you're like,
Yeah.
well, I can take that little quarter of an inch.
Because like when you go and you're squeezing on it, and because that's what. So I took this from Matt Pittman. So like when you have your brisket down, right, you have the fat. You can kind of like make a mohawk of where like you have that huge fat pocket that goes in
On
and
the fat
separates-
side.
Yeah, on the fat side. That separates the flat from the point. There's this huge fat pocket in there, and you can try to like carve that out, but then you get this weird thing, or you can separate the two. But like he in one of his videos, he just like pinches that piece of meat that sits kind of right on the edge of that pocket, and just cuts that off. Now you can get away with it because like I keep most of that except for this last one, but otherwise I keep that stuff and I'll grind it and use it for everything else. But you cut that off, it gives you a really good shape. And like this one, I cut it off and it was just, I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah.
If you're gonna spend 8 to 10, 12, whatever hours smoking a piece of meat, spend the money on it.
Yes.
And if you're not in the position to spend money on it, then don't buy it.
Yeah, get a smaller one.
Well, do a pork butt.
Do a pork butt. Do whatever.
something else.
It's just
Yeah.
it's a lot of time to turn out with a shitty quality product. And like
And
when you're
it's so
buying a brisket,
frustrating.
you can feel briskets when you buy them. If you grab a brisket out of the cooler and it's like super stiff, you don't want to buy
That's what I was
that.
gonna say. Yeah. So when you feel the fat, like the hard fat, that won't render very well.
Yeah, you're
on
not
the
looking like
brisket.
on the fat side. Like if you go to the store, you don't want to like look at the fat side of it. You want to see the intermuscular fat on the lean side of it. When
Yeah,
the
so
top
that's
side.
what. Yeah, so you can see because you're saying flip it over, look at the meat side.
Yeah.
you see the intermuscular fat and the marbling and stuff, and that shows you that there's good fat inside the meat. And then on the fat side, if you're poking around and stuff, and it's just all rock hard fat, like none of that is going to render while it's on the brisket, and so you're going to have to cut all that stuff off and either throw it away or try to render it to make beef tallow.
But that takes a long time.
But that, yeah. So that hard fat is useless fat for the actual brisket. But if you have a lot of fat and the fat is pretty soft, cool, you can still trim that. But all that soft fat will render as you cook it and go in there. And I would bet when you feel the fat side and you feel a lot of soft fat, if you flipped it over, like Brett said, you're going to see a lot of really good marbling in the meat, and that'll kind of help you see, is this a good chunk or not?
If you want like a good visual, go on Snake River Farms website.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, for Matt. You go on Snake River Farms website, look at some of their meat. That's obviously the highest end.
Yeah.
But I'm saying go on there and you'll see like what we're talking about, like the marbling intermuscular. You can look at their steaks, their fillets, their briskets. Then like just look up a choice brisket on the internet and look at the difference. And then anywhere in between there, you're going to be doing better.
Yeah.
Just so you have an idea of what you're looking for. But you should probably pick a brisket up and almost like kind of do like a little wave move with it. Like it should be flexible.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you just pick it up and it's like fucking stiff, it's
Yep.
probably not going to be good.
Nope.
No matter how much you can't put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change it.
Still a pig.
I mean,
So yeah, if my brother accidentally,
I know a guy
happens
who
to
did a
listen
few
to
times,
this,
but
super awesome gesture on his part. Like the gift and the thought was great.
Well, yeah.
But it's I feel bad that they did that to him.
Well, that's
especially because he told them like,
do you think they knew?
well, when he gave it to me, he was like, hey, I don't know shit about this, but I went in there and I told them kind of what you do and that you
And you saw the price of it, probably. Yeah.
yeah. So it was $5.99 a pound for choice, which I mean, you can go to Hy-Vee and get choice, same brand, pretty much everything, and it's like $4.99, even down to $3.99 a pound. and stuff. So it was a higher end of a choice.
I think I've seen choice at Fairway for like $1.99 a pound.
You can get it down to like $1.99, $2.99. I think's the low end I've seen, like around like 4th of July.
Yeah.
And stuff, or like summer events when people are going to buy a lot of them.
It would have been nice if they would have given them some choices. Like,
Right.
hey,
Yeah. Or
you know,
come
we
out
got
and be
this,
like, hey, because I'm
know.
sure if they came out, like if their choice was $6 a pound, their prime is probably $8.5 a pound. And maybe they come out with a 15-pound brisket that's $9 a pound. And brother's like, I don't like him that much. I'm not going to spend that. Fair. Well, here's the other option you have. Now it's a lower quality meat. You can get a bigger piece, or
do you have
smaller,
or do you have a 10-pound one?
right? Or get a smaller
Yeah.
prime cut, right? To give him some options. But like, yeah, the fact that he went in and told them like, hey, I don't know anything about this.
You are better. You are better off paying more and getting less when it comes to a brisket.
You'll be so much happier about it.
Because you'll have more usable meat.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't. At the end of the day, I don't think there's much difference. It's just like the total poundage doesn't really matter.
Right. You're gonna trim less off a better cut. You're gonna have a better flavor and a better texture for all the pieces that you have, and it's gonna be a better experience than if you have a big cut of meat that half of it is kind of like.
And like you can use brisket all week long.
Yeah.
And I love like taking like making is it the beef like burrito tacos? Is that a
Sure.
beef? Like at the end of the week, like where you just have whatever left over, like just freaking add some taco seasoning and put it in a tortilla, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's good.
Yeah, and so like what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna make some chili for our fire station. If you guys are in the area of Ponca Hills, fire station's having a chili cook-off tomorrow at 5 if you want to show up. But so I'm putting in a chili, and for that it's a brisket chili, but I don't use brisket. I'll use chuck roast, which you can season and do just like brisket. Like it still doesn't have the same like texture and flavoring, but it's pretty close. Like a lot of times they just call it like the
it's
poor
not that-
man.
yeah.
Right, in chili it doesn't matter. I want the smoky flavor and like a big cut of meat.
Yep.
But so like you can do that. You can get a big
So are you going to take that chuck roast to 204 or same temp?
close. The chuck roast, for when I add it to the chili, I don't finish it off as long
Because it's
gonna go in the chili, and so I don't want it to get all that
Fall
soft.
apart.
Yeah, I want it to be, and you get it mixed in with the chili, so it doesn't have to be like as tender on the smoker. So I'll probably just bring it up to like 170 ish, maybe up to 180, and then just pull it and not wrap it and let it finish out.
So if you wanted to do, because I have seen that you can do a roast like a brisket and run it to the same temp and get a.
And you can wrap it and you can treat it the exact same you would a brisket. Yep.
It's a good way to practice.
Yeah, I mean, you still get a good cut of meat. You get to practice your timings and temps and kind of figuring out seasoning for the outside of it.
Well, and like a lot of people who get like half cows or quarter cows, like you end up with some roast that you maybe don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to work on.
Yeah, like we just picked up our half cow. Super cool. I talked to the guy from Blair Meat Market, is the guy who butchers the cows that we get, and so they'll call you and they'll walk you through the cut list of like everything you want. Which like the first time I did it, I was like, hey man, like all secret. I'm like, hey, so I know I'm an adult male, but like I've never done this before. Can you walk me through it and hold my hand? He's like, yeah, that's fine. Right. So he like walked me through the cut list and like talked about all the different stuff and like the benefits of having, larger roasts, smaller roasts, all this stuff. So now we've done it enough. We kind of have a cut list there, and they'll just like, hey, do you want to do what you did last year? And we'll say yes, no. But this year I was like, hey, instead of getting a prime rib roast and ribeyes, it's like cut those motherfuckers into tomahawks. And he's like, we haven't done that. I'm like, can you? And he's like, yeah, sure.
He's got a bunch of tomahawks.
Yeah, so he did that. So we got like 9 tomahawks out of this bitch, and they're probably 3.5 inches thick, good sized chunks. I mean, they're probably like 3.5 pound chunks. Fucking great.
And
I
you
don't
say
care
you
about
get
the rest of it.
You say you get pigs from Blair Meat Market too?
They get processed at Blair Meat Market. We get them from little mountain farm, little green farm. It's a pig farm just north of Fort Calhoun.
Okay. So do you call Blair or do you call the?
You call that. You email that guy. I can't remember what his name is. But you just send him an email and say, hey, I'd like to get on your list.
So
to get a hog.
some kind of little green farm north of Fort Calhoun ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll look it up when someone else starts talking. But yeah, you look it up. So you call them or you email them, and he'll email back and say, hey, we have our next openings are, like if you messaged him now, their next openings are probably going to be April. Say, hey, we've got openings in April. Do you want to go in? Does that work for you? Cool. Yep. So you say yes. If you want more than one, you can let them know that. And then for like this one, we weren't supposed to get ours until middle of February, but someone canceled on one of the earlier ones. So he just called me and said, "Hey, are you good to take this spot?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man." So we get bumped up and got it a little earlier.
I think it's for everyone listening. I think it's a good idea to have a stock of meat, just especially with all the chaos in the world. Like that stuff changes so fast. I mean, we all remember COVID toilet paper.
Right.
That was goddamn toilet paper that had no function. Right. I mean, Matt just shits his pants. So he doesn't need toilet
I don't
paper.
even need toilet paper.
Yeah,
I
it's
use my
either that
butt
or
hair.
you just waffle stomp it in the shower.
Yeah.
I don't even have to waffle stomp it. It just goes down the drain.
Only when you're home, though.
Yeah. If I'm abroad, it's like a rock.
Spring door shitting.
So I was doing some perusing on the interwebs, and if you want to get a good like prime brisket, it's probably going to be like $8 to $14 a pound.
Yep.
It's kind of a
about
good
right,
range,
yeah.
and that's if you're going to like Costco or like Creekstone Farms, which is like Aaron Franklin gets all his stuff. 44 Farms is like what Matt Pittman uses. But then like we talk about Snake River, they do sell choice and prime. I think on that's their Double R Ranch is their other page, and then their Wagyu that gets to be a little bit different though. You're getting into
But I don't feel like the black
Wagyu.
Wagyu was that.
It's probably somewhere in the 10 to 14.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was out of line because I think
Yeah.
it was. I think the black one was like a 8 to 12. Does that sound right? Like 8 to.
Yeah, those are kind of the hard. The smaller ones are hard. Those sell out pretty fast a lot of times.
Oh no, it was 12 to 16
Like on 44
for
Farms,
like $160.
like a 13-pound, 9 to 13-pound brisket is $134.
And that's the Wagyu.
That's
No,
pretty
this is
good.
just their prime. Their USDA
Okay.
prime.
So
That's
that was a
on
14
44 Farms.
Okay.
9 to 13.
9 to 13 pounds.
Yeah, look up on the Snake River side because I don't feel like
It'd be cool if we had a Jamie here,
it would be cool.
but yeah,
Didn't we have one? Didn't you guys have one at the beginning?
yeah, he's a
Yeah, but he
fucking,
didn't do
he's
anything.
a fucking quitter. So Snake River, if you want the black, a 12 to 14 pound is $149 on the Wagyu, so it's about $14 a pound. Now, if you go to gold,
Well, if it's 14, it's about $10 a pound.
yeah, and if you go to the gold, like a 12 to 14 pound is $200 for a gold brisket.
Okay, but you said there's not a huge difference between black and gold
No.
in your.
No, and I think didn't Blaine even say that when he was here? There's
Yeah,
not a big difference
I
between
think
the
he
black and the
did.
gold.
I mean, I think you're getting a great quality cut of meat, and I don't know that most people would know the difference
And
between.
Snake River is 100% U.S. They're Snake River Valley, Idaho,
Yeah.
and they do all the Wagyu stuff. I did when I was looking. There was like some Australian Wagyu, and they went like $300 for that brisket.
Do you buy it?
No, it's probably kangaroo meat. I don't fucking know those people. So yeah, but the thing is, if you're gonna take the time, it's like spend the money.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not trying to be like, but like, if you're like a single guy or just like you, like, that's a good amount of meat. Even once you trim a 14-pound brisket, you're probably gonna trim it down to 10, probably something like that. It's gonna cook down to probably 8. That's 8 pounds of meat, dude. Like that's gonna fucking last some time. You're not
And you
eating,
can do all kinds of things with it.
even
after.
when I make it, because Amber doesn't eat brisket, but I do like 2 8-ounce servings a day for my lunch, like 2 different meals. I mean, that's a pound. That still lasts you 8 days if
Yeah.
you did it that way. And I always feel bad because by the end of the week, I'm like, Coach X is
so
here, and I was like,
tired of that.
I'm so tired of this Wagyu brisket. Do you want it? Yucky.
Did you say free?
Yeah. If Coach X is involved and it's free, he's all over that shit. I gave him that gross whiskey. I was like, you want this? And he was like, yeah. And I go, I know.
Because
Fucking knew before I even finished saying it.
The price is right.
As soon as my mouth opened, I was like, well, I know where this is going.
I have a brother that's the same way. Like anything that's free, he wants, and it could be just worthless. It doesn't matter. It's free.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, do you want this? How much is it free? Oh, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
If you would have said $10,
Gotta make a phone call. I'll get back to you.
let me talk to some people.
Yeah, I'll let
see if
you
I can find a better deal.
So I can get it for 8 on Amazon. So I'll take it for 8.
We did those beef ribs yesterday, which are also from Snake River. If you follow our Instagram page, those turned out pretty solid. I did the different phases of them. The shrinkage is fucking crazy on there. It's like it's like me in the wintertime outside. Shrinkage is bad.
So you said that you you didn't like the ribs from Snake River before, right?
I don't like their pork ribs.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, pork is not their high point in life. But it's what are the ones at Fairway Duroc?
Yes.
Yeah, those are better. But yeah, the beef ribs from Snake River, they're Wagyu ones.
Costco does have a pretty good selection of meat.
Costco does, yeah. If you have a Costco nearby, or even I've heard Sam's is pretty solid. I haven't checked Sam's, but
I just hate Sam's.
I like Costco better, so I was going to Costco.
I've had a Sam's membership because I feel like they're kind of sometimes more like business oriented with certain things you're trying to find.
But like when you walk in there, like the store's laid out like shit.
I mean, it's a Walmart.
Yeah, it's just laid out like shit. Like I don't like the layout, and then you get to the end, and you have to like basically scan your shit. Because waiting in that line, like you might as well have not even like your pack of lunch. You're going to be there for a minute.
Yeah,
that's the nice thing about Costco. No matter how busy it is, it's usually still pretty quick. You go there and you buy your stuff and you get out.
Dude, Amber and I went to Walmart like a week or two ago, and I usually try not to, but we went there and everything was self-checkout. There was like 2 people working, but it was all self-checkout, and you have like 2 people that like oversee,
monitor the self-checkout area.
This is what happens
when you have $15 minimum wage.
Yep. This is what happens. And it actually moved pretty fast. I was like, fuck, this line is big. And then we were like out of there pretty quick.
No, it moves quick because they have like 20 self-checkouts.
Yeah.
Did they ask to see your receipt?
Oh, so
No.
I was just going to say that. There's that guy by the door, and if you walk out sometimes they'll be, because I don't go to Walmart very often. Like it is, like if I have to go, like
It's a bad day.
And I'm already pissed, right? This guy's like...
I go to Target to buy my transgender swimsuits and stuff like that. That's where I usually go.
Yeah.
I go to the neighborhood Walmart, the little one.
I do like that as far as grocery shopping.
Yes.
But going to a large Walmart itself?
No, I don't
Not
go
fun.
to any of them. But I was in a Walmart. The guy's like, "Can I see your receipt?" I was leaving. I said, "No." It's like, you can either trust me to check out or pay someone to check me out. You don't get a fucking make me check out and then not trust me.
The worst is the ones that have the weighted fucking thing on the bagging area.
Hy-Vee
like,
does that.
And you don't like set something down. It's like, put item in bag. Put item in bag. And I was like, easy, bitch. I am fucking holding on to this deal. I'm trying to check out here.
Hy-Vee has the weight scale ones, but whenever we go to Hy-Vee, I get all my stuff down there. I have to go talk to the baggers because they're like my little buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the same
You guys are the
wavelength.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Little Buddies program, whatever that's called.
Before I forget, the farm that we get our pig from is Little Mountain Ranch and Garden. So it's littlemountainrg.com. And you can order whole pigs from there. Their pigs are good. Their pigs are not good for, like, if you wanted to do a whole pig roast, just because of the kind of skin that they have. Is
that like an Alabama pig roast?
Kind of, yeah.
Don't look that up. It's way different than what you think it is.
Yeah. Not nearly as enjoyable. A little wetter.
Hey, it's probably enjoyable for some people, but not everyone involved.
And they are
Is
Idaho
that like
pasture
Googly Blue
pigs.
Waffle?
That was...
How much are the pigs?
They list it as $3.60 a pound for a whole order, $3.75 a pound for half.
Why don't you just take your neighbor's pigs? Don't they have them pigs behind you?
They do have some big ass pigs behind my.
So that's
in a
So that's what you
residential
pay.
area.
And so like when you order a pig, there's 2 costs that go with it. So you pay the farmer for
The weight.
the weight, and that's the dry weight or the hanging weight. So once they get the animal in house, they slaughter it, drain it, butcher it, hang it up. That's the hanging weight, and so that's what you pay the farmer for that weight, and then you pay the butcher on here they list it as
The processing fees?
95 cents a pound, which I actually don't remember what it was.
So all in, you're a little over $4 a pound.
Yeah.
And how
Yep.
much they usually weigh? 3.
In here, theirs are somewhere, I think they're at 150 to 180.
Oh, they're little tykes.
Well, it's the hanging weight.
So yeah, they're 150 to 170 on average. I will say the pig we got this year was 185.
Oh, big.
So that's how many pounds of meat did you actually walk out with?
I don't remember.
Was it because I mean that's so when
that's
they do the hanging weight,
the hanging weight is
head and hooves and everything are still
yeah.
on
That's
there.
well, I mean, the head's gone, the hooves are gone. So essentially,
Okay.
like when you see a video of like half a carcass hanging, that's what you're paying for. Now, out of that, there's still a ton of waste because there's a bunch of bones and fat and sinew and bullshit that you're not going to keep.
Did you keep the skin and make is that pork rinds? What, there's a fancy name for it.
Cracklins.
There you go.
The cracklins.
Yeah. Watch Malcolm. He likes them. And you can tell.
but next year,
Don't usually
next
go
year,
back
the
in for
cow
the
that we
third
get
one on camera.
we're gonna keep the hide and try to tan it. And I don't know what we're gonna do with
Wow.
it, but
To make like a teepee or something?
I think so. I think we're gonna get rid of our house and just make a teepee out of the hides that we collect from.
Make sure
The
it
animals.
has to face east, right? I think it faces east so it wakes you up when the sun comes up.
Well, then I'm gonna face it the other way because I don't need that bullshit.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. Just trying to.
Well, when you're living on the land,
Right.
you need to wake up when the sun comes out.
Yeah.
But you're going to bed early too, because
Yeah.
you go to bed when the sun goes
Yeah.
down. So
But yeah, so like our half cow that we just got, the hanging weight was 390 on that one, and I would bet we came out with 300-ish pounds of meat that you get out of there.
I have my half cow will be here in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. If you're getting half an animal, you get a bunch of stuff that you normally wouldn't.
Yep.
Like so,
That's
like
the reason I don't do it.
if you're thinking that you want a cow because you want a bunch of steaks, you're going to be super sad because
Yeah.
you're going to get some steaks, but then you get a bunch of other meat.
you get a
Like,
lot of hamburger.
you get a ton of hamburger. And now you can get more. Like we get. So when they go through your cut list, there's a bunch of like, they call them steaks, but they're like minute steaks or something. It's just like, it looks like pressed hamburger patty, but it's technically a steak. Like I don't get that. I just get that ground. You can get stew
You
meat.
could make some chicken fried steak.
You could.
Stew meat's good if it's not real fatty.
Yeah. So the stew meat is pretty good. I forgot to do it this time, but we still had some stew meat from before because I was just gonna have the stew meat ground up because like again I don't
Dude, if you take the stew meat,
really use it.
toss it in some seasoning, like some, whatever, meat church, whatever, and get your flat rock like super hot and fucking throw it on there. Gets a little
Okay.
crust on it.
I'll try
And then
that.
I'll kind of flip it. I use that big spatula thing, fucking flip it over. I bet actually that Cosmo stuff I used yesterday,
Oh, that'd be
that
good.
Cosmo Texas beef, you want to try a good seasoning? It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's finer than the SPG, but it also has like a little bit of sugar in it.
Oh,
So it kind of brings in because a lot of the Texas barbecue, they say they only use salt and pepper, well, they also use Lowry's. They just don't talk about it. The Texas beef that sweetness kind of gives a little bit of that Lowry's.
some Lowry's.
Lowry's.
We were in Chicago. It's like for my sister's 40th birthday, and we're just like walking around. This before it got real shitty. And
Long
but-
time ago.
Yeah, 2017.
Like 89?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2017. And I always rated the homeless people. If you had good penmanship and a marker, you're not that poor. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you have a skill set. Nothing's spelled wrong, and you have good penmanship. You can do something in life. But we're walking, and I was like, God, that fucking looks like, we walk by this mansion, building, but it's in downtown Chicago. And I'm like, that fucking looks like the Lowry's logo. Fucking sure enough, it's like a Lowry's mansion, but it's a restaurant. You go in there and we went in there we had just eaten, but we're like,
Okay.
We went in there, we ordered a prime rib and split it. Fucking super good though. But yeah, they have a restaurant right there.
Yeah.
Is it still there?
It's off Michigan Avenue a little bit, so it's probably still there. But it's like an old mansion. Have you been there, Tanner? Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Oh, yeah, it's like an old mansion, I think, or something like that. It's
Yeah,
really
it is.
cool though.
Is it still there?
Well, we went in 2017, and it was. So, I don't know. I assume it is.
Yeah.
Real nice, Brett.
Dude, when you're for your cow, are you getting all the organs and soup bones and all that shit?
I think I am going to.
Okay.
I was thinking about trying to figure out. So I was like, if you eat organ meat, you actually get all your vitamins and minerals that you can get from everything else, but you have to eat the organ meat.
Right.
So if you could figure out a way to do that, and I was actually thinking about basically just getting it and then drying it out and then grinding it up.
So I asked them this time, I'm like, hey, can you just grind all the organs with the
Yeah.
ground beef?
Oh,
And they said they don't do that in
Yeah.
their facility. But I got to thinking, I was like, well, I've got a meat grinder.
Yeah.
So why not just grind it and then figure out, if I have 90 pounds of ground beef, can I split those up into little servings? So when I pull out 4 pounds of ground beef, I pull out one of these little packs of organ meat.
Oh, try it
and
once.
throw it all together.
yeah, try it once.
Yeah, just mix it up.
Because as a guy, you'll eat it,
Yeah.
even if it tastes bad.
Yeah.
If we cook anything and it's terrible, we
Right.
still eat it.
But I mean, if you had, so you're going to mix in
You don't?
a couple ounces.
Well, I just don't buy it. But yeah, I was forced to
Yeah.
eat liver and onions when I was younger, and I
No,
fucking torture
but
it.
if he's talking about grinding up the organ
Yeah,
meat
the liver,
and
the
throwing
hearts, and the tongue and all that.
little bits in with his hamburger.
and then add little bits to it, and just round it up with it. I think it'd be fine.
It's not happening.
But we have soup bones that I don't know. We're gonna have to do something with them this year.
I was thinking about just
bunch
basically
of them.
dehydrating them and
Yeah.
see if I can get a powder out of it.
Just
Yeah,
give it a sniff.
snort it.
Yeah, that's the best way to get it.
It's really weird. I walked out of this thing for like 2 minutes and it got weird.
It's
Next thing I know, people are snorting
powdered bones.
snorting fucking bone broth over
how
here.
you get their power.
Yeah, snorting off people's bones.
Yep. Any bones.
Yeah.
Flesh bone. Bone.
What else? Oh, we tried out the drum smoker yesterday. Actually,
Yeah.
used it.
How'd that temp work?
Dude, that thing fucking just locks in.
Does it?
Yeah, just use like that fucking guy in that video. What I do here is I stick my finger in and I stop it there. That's 350. And
Sure
he wasn't
enough,
fucking
yeah.
lying. It was 350.
So just the tips 350.
But you know what I was wondering? Like, if you want to run super low, I wonder if you have to close one of those completely. You know, if you want to
Maybe,
run
yeah.
like 200 on it or 250.
I kind of feel like then you would lose flow, wouldn't you? Like
Well, you
airflow?
have two intakes,
Yeah, but don't you need?
but then there's a chimney on top.
Okay,
So what'd you cook it at?
It was running like 350 for the.
and just held
How
there.
long?
I did 10 or 12 minutes on the one side. I flipped them real quick because I didn't want to leave the lid open very long because it's just sucking air then. And then it was like another 15 minutes, and they were like 190 for the wings. I just did like I had one of those party packs from Costco.
Yep.
But I had just one of the pounds.
That's good though.
Yeah, it turned out they're not real smoky because I mean you're cooking. I put one piece of hickory in there.
Well, it's too hot to be smoky, right?
Yeah.
Because
I mean-
when I've done wings, I like you have to like.
If I would have put more chunks of wood in there, it would have been smoky. 'Cause
Okay.
when I do my green egg, you can get it. But I think the temperature, in my opinion, controls better on this because on the green egg, your dampener is on the side. So I think air just comes hammering in that thing.
especially if it's windy out.
Yeah. Or not your dampener, but your vent. Your
Yeah.
dampener's the top. Where this, the vents they face up. Then you can open and close them. So I feel like wind's not. But I also say that, but at the same time, an offset, the door's on the side. So I don't really know if I just made that whole thing up or not, but it seemed easier.
Good.
I mean, to me, this one makes sense because
felt
you
better.
want your cold, fresh air
Yeah.
to come in at the bottom to feed the heat of the flame, and then obviously your chimney to take all the heat out of the top and stuff. And I think feeding the air into the bottom at the seat of the fire also helps regulate the temperature in there because it's coming in at whatever the exterior temperature is what it's coming in as. Whereas if they come in like up high, then in order for the fresh air to get down, it has to pass through the hot air, and so it gets warmed up, and it's a little more challenging.
Well, see, green egg comes in the bottom too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're just fuckers.
Yeah, I don't know. I have more.
I've heard green eggs hold like once you get the temp held though,
Oh, yeah.
those things just stay.
Yeah, and if you get it real hot and you just open it without burping it, you're going to lose your eyebrows.
You just crack it and just slam that bitch open.
I've
Ask
done
me
it
how I
before.
know.
Yeah, I've done it before because I did some. I have some grill grates and I did some ribeyes on there where you just do like
Oh god.
the Cosmos ones where it's just like infinity hot. They
Yeah.
call it like going nuclear where it just goes as hot as it wants to. And yeah, if you don't burp it, for that drum, it sits down there like there wasn't even a flame up. Literally, there's no indirect heat plate. The wings were sitting probably 24 inches ish off the fire pit or the firebox, and they're just cooking over the fire. You get the dripping to cook back up.
What
was
brand
there
of
like
the drum?
active fire down in there, or was it just like the smoldering hot coals?
It was there's a little bit of a flame, but
Okay.
it wasn't. It's a Gateway drum smoker.
Okay. And how much was that?
I think this was I did the matte colors and they're like $100 cheaper. So I think it was like,
Did you get it from them or did you get it from
I got it from Helping You Barbecue.
Yep.
so I think it's like 1,000 something for the matte colors and like 11 something if you want like the gloss.
I don't know why you'd want gloss on a smoker. I feel like that's
They
extra
look
cleaning.
fucking real nice though. They're real fucking shiny.
Yeah, but what do they look like in a year?
Well,
Real
I mean,
shiny.
yeah,
Huh?
Real shiny.
Still
real
nice,
shiny?
Clark. Real nice.
real nice. But you know, if somebody wants to, you know, try like open flame, it's a pretty cheap investment. It works pretty, and you can actually. There's 3 different levels. You can set the grate right on top of the fire if you want to. And have you ever seen when they do those? Was it like Texas style, where they put it right in the ashes?
Oh yeah.
Where they cook a steak and they put it in the ashes. I offered Coach X $2 to grab the fire basket out of there when it was hot, and he wouldn't do it.
I'm surprised.
For $2?
Yeah, he's like,
that's
it'll like
weird.
brand my hand. I go, yeah, we've all seen Yellowstone. It means something.
He's a branded man. You don't fuck with him.
Yeah, wouldn't do it. Probably a shooting hand. But yeah,
Yeah. I'd
we're
be curious
good.
about like the putting it in the ashes.
I've
like
never
how-
done that. It just seems like
I
it'd be
don't-
gross to me.
So like
Does sound gross.
the old timers at the fire department, they used to do a barbecue out there, and
They
the
did the
barbecue
rocks.
would be on like Saturday, Friday morning, they would dig a trench, early Friday morning, like 2 or 3 in the morning, they'd have this trench. They'd load it up with wood, get it roaring hot, and then let it cool down till it's just like really hot ashes. And then they wrap the brisket up in like newspapers, and like put it down in there, cover it up, and then it just sits in there for like a day. And then they dig it up, and that was. And then they would serve that stuff.
The briskets and news. When you told me about this, I just assumed they were doing like a hog in the ground,
No, they were doing briskets.
like they do in Hawaii. That'd be cool to eat.
Yeah,
where they
but it was
bury
like-
they wrap it in banana
Yeah,
leaves
they're just
and they put
buried
it,
under. It's just in the ground.
That's
They
weird.
put it down. They cover it with hot ash, and they cover it with dirt, and
That's cool.
it just sits there. And I was like, all
So
right.
you're just eating the ink in the newspaper then? Or?
Yeah, I think so. But I
Brings
did
the
run it by
flavor in.
Erin about doing. I'm like, hey, Erin, I'm gonna do a whole hog roast this summer, and she was like, all right, cool.
Well, you have money.
Yeah.
You got all the money in the world
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
You
no
can do what the
problem.
fuck you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask
Anything.
anymore.
I don't have to ask. I'm like, hey, I got a new house. I got a new house. I don't know where you're living, but like, I have a new house.
I mean, he bought 2 guns last week. I mean,
Doesn't fucking matter at this point in time.
Yeah.
it's basically like
so-
we're sitting here with the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
Just fucking moving on up, you know? Like,
Yeah, so I don't know what time or when. I'm guessing probably.
are you going to do it on your Traeger?
No,
or are you
I'm
gonna build a cinder block pit?
I'll build like a temporary cinder block pit. In the
Why would you
meadow.
make it temporary? You live in an acreage.
Because I don't want a big cinder block pit just hanging out in the middle of my meadow.
Why?
Because
I
I
don't
have to
see
like do shit around it.
That's less you have to mow. I don't know if you know this, but the more shit you put in your yard, it's the less you have to mow.
With our bees, I don't.
They're dead.
mow,
They
like,
left.
twice a year. We're getting more bees.
They fucking left. They don't even like your place.
What happened?
His bees left.
Last year, our bees took off. I don't.
Fucking just skated.
Did you have sugar water out
They're
for
just
them?
like, oh, hey,
Like, we had
we're
stuff out for 'em, but
fucking
sometimes
blowing
they
this
just-
place.
They just take off.
Yeah.
We're outta here.
Like they
Little-
took it and they just left. I'm guessing, like what?
Probably found some hose in a different meadow somewhere.
Probably. But I saved, and so we're getting ready to. In another month or so, I'll get another nook, which is like a seed pack that has 5 frames and a queen and a whole hive. We'll put it in. So I pulled out the old frames from last year that still had like honey and stuff in it, because you can put that back out there in the hive, and then the newbies will come in and they'll clean it up, and then they'll use that honey to like
Yeah.
jumpstart the hive. But there was one frame that was capped and perfect, didn't have any larvae or anything in it. So I pulled that out, and so I just have a bowl at home that just has honeycomb sitting in it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've just been walking by like a fucking animal and just grabbing and just biting honeycomb. I've never eaten so much honey.
Is that why you have the shitting problem?
No,
because you're not
Erin
doing
has
that.
not been shitting herself.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have the same guts.
Yeah,
No, with same exact guts. Yeah,
Relation, huh?
but yeah, brother sister. yeah,
don't
that's-
bees like jerk off in the air? What is that thing you?
So like they,
It's a very weird mating
They
process.
have air orgies.
See, I told you. Air
So
orgies.
like in a beehive, 95% of the bees are female, and the 5% are the males, and they're like the drones. And like the male bees don't do a fucking thing. They just wander around and bump into chicks and cause problems and just get in the way. Except for periodically the bees take off. They fly up into swarm hive or mating hives, I think. But they go 150, 200 feet in the air, which is a very specific height, but that's where they go. And they fly around and just like tell dick jokes to each other until the queen comes along. And the queen comes in there. She gets ran through
it's
by a
a
bunch
fucking
of bees.
bukkake in the air.
Yeah. So she gets run through by a bunch of male bees.
that's probably why they left, because Matt just kept
Those-
watching them.
right?
Fuck, you guys are weird. Over here.
Get the fuck out of here! This guy keeps creeping us out.
God, close the window. But yeah, so they have these hives. The queen will go up there, and so it's new queens, right? Queens only go to the gangbang once. They go up there. These bees run a train on the queen. The bees that are part of the orgy die. The queen,
Yeah,
gets
like once they nut, they're dead, right?
yeah, and then that
Game
queen
over.
goes back to the hive, and she has all the semen she's ever gonna need. She's like loaded to the gills, literally.
Like Monica Lewinsky dress style shit.
right, like satchels,
Boom, saving it.
satchels of sperm.
Just saving it.
And then so she just lays eggs for, a while, and then she dies and a new one pops out, and then she goes, rides the train, comes back and lays more bees.
You know what we need to do is we need to get like the National Geographic, like the picture of it happening, the video of it happening. But
We talked about the National Geographic thing yesterday.
But I need you to narrate it. We'll put that shit on YouTube.
Yeah,
We thought about a National Geographic video yesterday, but it wouldn't be appropriate. So
true.
we
I'll
gotta-
tell you afterwards.
Yep.
But yeah, so like the bees will just swarm, but we have the one frame that's just like some of the best honey. And I don't really like honey, and I'm probably partial to this honey because like I was like, oh yeah, this is my honey. I'm like, dude, I didn't.
You
make
watched it. You watched it.
Yeah, I watched
happen.
him fucking like make it and go out there. And so it was funny. When we had the hive out there, the dogs, we'll let them out in the meadow. And Yurik, who's like the dumbest of our dogs, like he's really smart, but he's also just a total dummy. Like he went up to the hive and he's like, bees, nope, and he left. The other dogs looked at him like, bees, nope. Except our bulldog Pig, who has like the least dog defenses ever. She goes up, she's like, bees, I gotta smell bees. And so in order for like a bulldog to smell, like their forehead touches whatever they're gonna smell, so they can get their little fat smushed face on it. And she's like sniffing, and then all of a sudden she jumps back and just starts shaking her head. And they have like little stubby T-Rex arms, and so she's trying to like scratch at the top of her head, but she can't. And we get over there, and she's got a fucking bee like right on the top of her head. And so once they get stung, then the rest of the hive's like, ooh, fuck this bitch. And so like bees are starting to fly towards her, and I'm like, Pig, no. And so we get her out of there, and she gets blasted like 3 or 4 times. And so for like a week, she has just these giant fucking welts.
There's like a
from
whole
bees.
Instagram page like dedicated to dogs who've been stung.
Yeah. Yeah. So now she stays away.
When we had our pug, I'd go take a shit and I would like shut the door because otherwise like all the dogs would go in there, and all you would hear under the door is yeah. It's like, wow, and then you'll see like a paw slide under the door. Can't get in.
Almost. Yeah. The best is when she eats and like we feed him in the kitchen, and she'll like push her bowl up against the cabinet, and then food gets underneath the cabinet. And since the house is older, like the cabinets aren't exactly like square and true, so there's a spot where she'll like lose food, but the toe cook is too deep for her to get her face in there, and so she's just on the ground, like pushing against the ground, trying to scoot herself in, but her face is too fat to get in there, and you can just look at her tongue. She just fucking can't get the food.
Do you feed her bread? It's great. We used to give our pug bread because their breathing through their nose is terrible. So they're like
Peanut butter. Peanut butter is the way to go with her.
oh, man.
Yeah.
It's very informative.
Yeah.
Very informative things today.
Yeah.
The moral of this whole thing is be selective about your briskets if you're going to take the time to make one. Anything that's going to take you 5 hours or longer that's not a pork butt, take your time because there's really not any pork butt you can really fuck.
I mean, unless the actual smoker catches on fire and totally burns to the ground,
Still probably not going to be that
it's
bad.
probably not that bad, right? You could probably
not
still
gonna be
like
that bad.
cut it up and be fine.
Yeah, just peel the skin off. It's probably good on the inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like briskets, some of your beef ribs, some of your other things are going to take some time. Just like spend the money. I mean, it's not worth it otherwise. Just do pork butts like Matt said. Get a chuck roast and make some like poor man's bird ends or whatever they're called.
Yep. They turn out.
Yeah. Chris, you got anything to add?
No. I do
Figures.
not. No.
Yeah. Well, he's just a flat rock guy, on it every day, flat rocking.
I do use it almost every day.
I still think mine's weird that when the temperature changes dramatically, it fucking just
Mine's
like
only done that once, and that was when it was really cold outside.
the corner fucking just like bends up.
I heard it make the noise. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I go out there in the corner.
I'm just glad I didn't have any fucking like eggs on that side. That'd have been a game over fucking deal.
Another week, I got a weekend off, though, and I'm going to smoke something. So.
Have you ever smoked a brisket yet?
Yeah, you came over. Don't you remember? And then my wife told me she could
Apparently
make one
wasn't
better.
that
that's
memorable.
right. Yeah, that is
She's
right.
like,
Yeah.
I could probably do it better than this. This isn't that good.
Yeah, this thing's dog shit. I don't even know why I'm sitting here. This guy's a fucking loser.
Was she really talking shit about your brisket?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she's like, I could probably do it better.
She won't, though. So
Nah.
she won't try it.
But anyway, yeah, if you have any other questions on handling meats, talk to Tanner on his OnlyFans page. It's onlyfans.com/large head. Large hand.
The head.
Large head, smooth tonsils, Tanner. We appreciate you guys listening. Like we said, like, subscribe, share. But honestly, if you have any other questions about meat selection, smoking foods, whatever, let us know. We'll see you guys next time.